What's up, everybody? It's your boy Taz again, back. You can see I've got my jacked up animation on the sword. But another key thing here is that I've gone and pulled in some new textures for armor. And so today that's what we're going to be covering, how to pull that down from WoW Export and how to make it work in Azeroth Core. It's not as intuitive as you might think. It's a little bit more involved than, say, pulling in I guess, pauldrons or something along those lines, or maybe I just haven't done enough to where I've run into issues. But what I have found is that textures that come in BLP format have several different types of BLP format, and some of them are compatible with 3.3.5, some of them are not. And so we're just going to cover how to pull that down, get it all compatible, and get it so that your character can start running around and shaking his metal diaper like he's doing right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. So, exit out of here, shut down my server, and give me just a sec here, and I will figure out what we need to do next. Okay, so the next obvious thing, I've gotten the plate legs and the chest to work out of the Stormwind armor set, but now I'm gonna say probably the next two things we're gonna want are the boots and the gloves, right? So um, first things first, I've got it set up in my export folder so that it is clean, and we're gonna do that here. So I'm gonna go ahead, delete everything in all of these, and just make sure that they are clear. And you'll notice the file structure is a little bit different than it was for, like, say, the helmet and the pauldrons, because we end up with a whole new directory in the items folder. So this is still important, and it still plays a factor in the DBC like we've covered before. Now, um, next step, we're going to go ahead and export the Stormwind boots. So say options, go view related textures, and you'll see here it's just a couple of boot textures. And we're going to go ahead and say export as raw BLP. All right, cool. And then we are going to go into what's called Blipster. So again, this was covered in a previous video, but Azeroth tools, if you go back, I'll put the link back in the description in case you don't want to look through the videos. Go back through and look at Azeroth tools. Go scroll down to, instead of models, this time we're going to go to textures and say Blipster and Blipster Converter GUI, right? GUI, graphical user interface, if you didn't know. And this basically is designed to set your to convert BLP files to the appropriate type. So we have to do a little bit of trial and error here to get this to run, but it's not too awfully bad. First, we need to figure out what kind of BLP files we have. So as you can see, it doesn't really tell us what type of BLP this is. So first thing we're going to do is open this up. We're going to go and we're going to say convert. So you saw what I did. You say add files. You point it to your export folder that the texture went to from WoW Exporter, and then you say convert. And you look here, and we can see that this is a BLP DXT1 Alpha 0. And it converted it to a PNG RGB. So if we look back into our export folder here, it'll be in there. And you can see that we didn't have a PNG file before, and it converted this BLP to this PNG file. Well, out of a little bit of trial and error, I've done some of the legwork for you guys. What I've come to realize is that we want this to be a BLP PAL Alpha 0. That's what we want this to be. I know that works with 335. So we see that it converted it to PNG RGB. So all we do is we select this so we want it to convert from PNG RGB to BLP PAL Alpha 0. And we want to save that rule. And let's go ahead and save it. Now we're gonna clear our stuff here. We're gonna clear the output, and we're gonna add the file, this PNG file that it just created for us. And now we just created that custom conversion rule. So what it should do is take this PNG and turn it into a PAL Alpha 0. And let's see what happens. There we go. We took it from PNG RGB and it converted it to BLP PAL Alpha 0. And now it works now with World of Warcraft 335. So let's go ahead. Now that one's finished. Let's go ahead and clear the output, and we'll clear everything in this one. And we're going to do that. I believe there was another texture that was involved in this, and I think it went into the leg lower texture. Yeah, that seems to be where it went. Go ahead and copy this file path just to save some time here in a second. And we're going to close that one. Add files. Take this BLP. Now this will probably be the same type of BLP as the initial one. We'll see. We'll say convert. Yeah, DXT5 to PNG RGB alpha. So it was not the same type. I don't know why Blizzard made things so complicated in that regard, but I mean, I guess it's to keep people like us from being able to do this. Anyway, so now that we know that this is PNG RGB alpha, we want to create another custom conversion. So PNG RGB alpha to BLP PAL Alpha 0. And we'll save that. Yeah, I'll save it. Okay. And we'll go ahead and clear selection again just to make sure that everything is easy to get to. So add files. And again, we'll see here that there was no PNG file before, and now there is. And we'll tell this to convert the PNG to Alpha 0 or BLPPA, whatever. You know what it is. That. All right, and it did. It converted it. So we're good there. And what that means is that pretty much we're done here. What that means is that now this BLP has been reformatted to fit with Azeroth core. So as with any new item, let's go up here. Okay, just give it a quick description there. So we'll go to class here. Oh, wait, hold on. I set myself up badly here. I try to keep my stuff in succession and not just go with what it automatically gives you in terms of the ID that we're going to put in here. And if you can't tell, I'm basically going for Warcraft 1 theme. So the helmet and all that stuff matches what the footman kind of looked like in Warcraft 1, with the horns coming off of the helm instead of the tassel. Here we go. So All right. Okay, so class, armor, subclass, plate. No, actually, we're gonna go with mail because this is a lower end. It's not exactly gonna be amazing in terms of stats because it's for lower level characters. So our DBC, let's go ahead and just do a real quick check on what our latest is for this. Okay, come on down. Yeah. 68757 is going to be the next in line. 68757. Okay. Quality is going to be blue. Buy count, buy price, sell price. Inventory type, feet. Material, plate. This is just adding the plate sound effect when you pick up the icon. That's what that is for. Most of the rest of this can be ignored for what we're doing here today. I've showed you guys how to make custom items before, so not a big deal. We're just gonna go through and do things right really quickly. So stamp. Okay. There's only so much magic you can shove in a pair of boots, right? Okay. And yeah, that seems to be in order. We'll go ahead and execute that query. Cool. All right. Next, we're going to pull this over to the side and use it for reference as we create the actual item in item DBC. Open up the DBC in Waddle K335 again. We've done this 1,000 times. Okay. And here, again, yours probably will be a little bit more organized than mine. I have to do this every time for right now. Because I don't want the cookie cutter next in line thing that the DBC editor thinks should be next. All right, so 4, 3, -1. What type of inventory type? No, this is material. 6 is plate. 68757. Inventory type is 8. There is no sheath. It is not a weapon, so we'll save that. Cool. Now, item DBC display info. Model K. All right. Oh, you know what? I should have kept item open. We'll open it back real fast. So for this, because this is foreign to me, we're going to have to do a little bit of copying. And so to do that, we'll just look up Imperial Plate Boots. And that is 12426 is the item ID number. Okay, and it's using 24513 as display. All right, and we're gonna copy this whole thing and add down to here. Paste line. You can see it did give us the correct number for this one. Okay, and now we need to take the names of the boot textures that we just took. Now, if you look at the next one up, that's the leggings. This actually used... interesting. It had this filled out. I don't think that it uses anything but these two textures, though. So Not exactly a big deal. Okay, anyways, back to the meat and potatoes of what we're actually doing here. Okay, um, so we see that it's got plate D03 boot LL and plate D03 boot FO, and those are for, again, the Imperial plate set. We don't want that. We want the names of the textures that we just converted. And so for that, say, go here, rename, and this says boot LL. So that's this one. So we're going to just replace the name with this, and we're going to get rid of the U and the underscore at the very end. We don't need that. And we're going to do the same thing for the foot texture. You can see there the naming convention is the same. It's got that little FO with the underscore U. We're going to do the exact same thing here. We're going to replace that and get rid of the underscore U. Everything's case sensitive, so do not change the casing of any of this. And we're going to say file save, and that completes the DBC file. Now we want to add, where are you? Add the DBCs and the textures to our client in a patch. So DBF files, we've done this a million times. This is all pretty cut and dry. Hold on. Just grab the file path. It's faster to do it from Explorer most of the time. Um, cool. And we're going to take item DBC and item display info and say OK and say yes to all. All right, those are now imported, those DBCs we just did. Now we're going to go into the texture components. Remember the file structure. WoW export will give it to you perfectly. You don't have to change anything as long as you go in and manually make these folders with the exact same naming convention. Everything will work just fine. All right, leg lower texture, I think, and we're going to add our leg lower texture file. Yep. Copy again. I'm just going in here to get the correct directory. All right. All you need is the BLP. You don't need this PNG in here. So we're gonna go ahead and say yes to that and replace it because you can see I've been working on this before. And now we want the foot texture, right? You can see I worked on this before. This isn't working, just so you know. This is not. This is completely fresh, so there's a good chance that there's a pretty decent chance this may not work. But I'm fairly confident it will. All right, and do the same thing with this for the foot one, and we're just going to replace it. We can, interesting. Oh, that must have been when it was actually converted. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we're done. That should do it. Now we just got to go in and actually add the item. So let's go ahead and fire the server up. Try to give it at least a little bit of a heads up, or a head start rather. Okay, there's our majestic first war. God, I've got to figure out these animations better. First war plate boots. And there they are, guys. Those are the new boots that are from, I don't know what expansion that they were actually put in, but that's where they are. And you can see, okay, it's not perfect. Hold on here. It's interesting that it would use that, but not the appropriate lower. Okay. Well, I bet we can fix that. Okay, so where are we here? What do we got? DBCs, right? That's probably where our problem is at. Item DBC, nope, item display. That little black area probably showed up because even though these items by themselves don't necessarily use um, oh, hmm, that's calling in this. We may not. Huh, okay. Leg upper, leg lower. I am assuming what that means is that we don't necessarily need both textures. So I'm going to try something really fast and just bear with me. All right, cool. All we should have to do is import that now. You can see as I add more stuff to this that it's definitely taking longer to load my MPQ files. Um, say again. There we go. So now they share the same type of lower leg texture. I am hoping that fixes our issue. What have we got here? Let's look. Leg lower texture. Sorry, I had to reset. Anytime you do that, you really do need to reset the server. Now what this does mean is that you'll have a little bit of, yeah, that fixed it. Interesting. Kind of fixed it anyway. And you can tell that's how it's meant to look. It's just that I guess the geo set, or maybe it just had some overlap that neither one liked. I'm not sure why that happened, but it seems to mesh pretty nicely now. There's not a big old black spot on his kneecaps anymore. And let's go ahead and run through, and I'll do the gloves real fast. You can stop watching now if you've got the gist of this down, but may as well while I'm recording go ahead and go through, and that way if I've got any problems, maybe you guys can see it, or maybe it'll go smooth as butter. Um, so here we go. Let's go ahead and check this out. Close, and we'll go to, again, we want our stuff cleaned out, right? So let's take those away. Foot texture, those are gone. Cool. And go back here, and we'll say Stormwind. Actually, We're gonna need the oh. Yeah, that's fine. Uh, 1988, that's easy to remember. Okay. Stormwind grips, I think. Right? That looks right to me. Options. Let's view on Wowhead. Just make sure, because I can never tell between the hands and the bracers. It's a cosmetic and it's for hands. All right, cool. So this will give us the gloves we want. View related textures. And we are going to say export BLP. Cool. All right, we're done with that for now. And we're going to go over to the texture components. Again, this is just our export directory. Open up the Blipster. Go back over here to hand texture. Copy the route, right? And say add files. There we go. Figure out what kind of BLP we got here. Convert PNG RGB. Custom conversion. I don't know if you have to do this every time, but I'm going to do it every time. Save. Yeah. Convert. Oh, I know why. Clear. Add file. Take the new PNG. Yep. Cool. Convert. Alright, there we go. That BLP is now working. Let's just clear the whole screen here, and we'll add the next one. Add. Pretty sure there was another texture involved. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Did the same thing to me. Alright, we're done with that. Don't need anything but the BLP. Cool. Go to our DBC. Let's go ahead and make the next one. Pull that over. All right, guys, it worked. First run. We ran into the same problem here with the texturing, so I guess pick your poison. I would say with these, it's better off just using the. I would use the chest, honestly. I mean, I think it's just gonna flow nicer than whatever the hell they have. I mean, we can check real fast. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's weird. I wonder why it does that. Um, but yeah, use the definitely use just the chest there. We'll fix it real fast just to see it to completion. But mm, that's not exactly what I figured would happen. That's quite the armor. Hold on. Um, Interesting. That's interesting. I wonder why. Hmm. Odd. It's odd that it does that. I know I didn't put it into the patch, but I just want to look at what it's doing again to see if maybe I can figure out. Because, I mean, obviously it's better to have that little black spot just above, below the elbow than it is to have the actual gauntlet look like it's made of your arm. Yeah, so it's basically shoving that whole thing right into that. Interesting that it does that. I wonder why. texture and see what the actual. You can kind of see where it matches. That looks normal. Go away. So with just the glove, why would it interfere here, I wonder? Um, Bracers, maybe? Are there bracers for this? Let's look. Doesn't appear like there are. Hmm. I don't know. Unless it is something to do with the geo set, which I learned the hard way. What kind of model is that? Let's see. It's basically the big flared out model, right? So what is what's a similar glove? Jeez, don't know. Okay, we're gonna go with it. I think what's happening is that it's got a different geo set, and that's why it seems to be covering up some of it and going, black with just below the elbow there. That might be something I have to play with a little bit. Arm lower. Oh, I don't need that. I just need the DBF file. Okay, yeah, sure, yep. All right, close. Where are you? Yeah, I mean that's better than the alternative, I guess, but huh. I wonder also if it could be because it's an alpha zero, and normally in texturing and stuff like that, or if you've worked with any kinds of image editing, your alpha is your transparency. And so if these are BLPs with no transparency, it would make sense that they don't work over top of each other. And so maybe there's another type out there that we can convert to that is compatible with 335. This just happened to be BLP0 is the only one that I've gotten to work, but it was also the first one that I got to work, so doesn't necessarily mean it is the only one. All right. Well, I'll do some more testing on that, and if you guys want to go back and try some of this yourselves, my test method is going to basically be go back, try to reconvert to a BLP with a different alpha channel. Because where are you? Where'd you go, you little fucker? Uh, yeah, the BLPster here. I think these alphas are basically telling you like, hey, yeah, if there's overlap, um, a high alpha texture would probably not take precedence. So it would be underneath a lower alpha texture. This is theory. I don't know how that. I'm not sure of that, but I think that might be what either that happened or the geo set for the gloves needs to be changed to do another set of gloves with a similar geo set that glove was designed for. Um, I honestly wonder, can this be? Yeah, because the texture itself would hold that, right? So your geo set on the texture is going to be, um, hmm, yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue what it could be. The geo set should be defined in the BLP. So, I mean, you look at the gloves, they appear normal. They appear painted properly. So I pretty much doubt that it's the geo set that was set in the DVC file. It still could be, but I'm leaning more towards maybe the alpha channel being the issue. But yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. That's basically how you can import new stuff into WoW for texturing. It's a little bit more involved. It's not quite as uh, it's more data manipulation than it is, going into Blender like we did with shoulder pads here. Um, the helmet too was kind of neat. That one was one where I learned a little bit about geo settings and that kind of thing. So since I've gotten one of these to work properly and seems to run. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Funny story, real fast, if you got the time. Um, the helmet is basically um, it's if you don't properly set your geo set on the helmet in the DBC folder, your hair will pop through it. So that's what the geo set does on the helmet. Um, yeah, honestly, I just very much doubt that it has anything to do with the geo set for these gloves. I think it's probably the alpha channel, and the type of BLP that we converted this to. I'm sure 335 has some compatibility with some of the later stuff, so we'll give that a run with a higher alpha channel later on. But yeah, I think I look cooler than this guy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll catch you next time. I'm gonna be pretty much out of the realm next week. We got Christmas coming up, and I'm traveling with the family, so I hope everybody has a happy holiday, and we will catch you on the next one.